I don't know if we're live as yet. So we're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, we're live. Yeah. Good evening. This is the, well, I guess I have to say this would be the normal 8 o'clock show that I would do, evening show, and Frontline combined. Today was a different day in Trinidad and Tobago. The normal 8 o'clock show. I just need to turn down the volume of this. Evening show and Frontline combined. And that's the delay. Excellent. Sorry about that. We're in the office. That map behind you is behind us is our constituency map. I'm here with Tony Defoe, PRO, Progressive Empowerment Party, Suzette Lauer, Head of the Advisory Council, Deputy Political Leader. We are having a conversation tonight with you and with regards to everything that took place today on the beta. So feel free to share the video. I'm not going live from this, so I guess I won't see the comments on this. I don't know why I put it out there. Right. Yeah. So, Suzette, Tony, feel free to jump in and weigh in on the turn of events that took place today.
Suzette?
I'm not certain as to what would have caused it or prompted that situation at the beta. So I don't know really. I can't comment to the extent that I can get involved in the conversation where that is concerned, because I understand it was a riot. I understand it was a protest. People are saying on social media that it may be because of the arrest of two of their community leaders. I'm not sure if that is the case. I'm waiting to get more information before I can comment. What I do want to say, however, is that is a highway. It is the main route for most people who work in Port of Spain and live in the east, south, and so on. That level of disruption and that amount of trauma that they would have inflicted on the hardworking people of this country this afternoon is absolutely something I will not support. Despite what may have transpired and what their grievances were, I absolutely do not support such lawlessness. I understand that threats were made against ordinary citizens that would have been caught in traffic there. That, again, is something I will absolutely not support. I understand that there may be frustrations and people may be angry and they may have had some grievances with the law and so on, or maybe a misunderstanding. But innocent people who are finding their way to and from work should not have to have been victims this evening or this afternoon based on that entire situation. So that really, my problem with that is the amount of lawlessness that was exercised today.
Well, our truth is, as usual, we need to look at it from the position of all sides. Trinidad is a country that seems to be collapsing. We are falling apart. Everything that is done in the name of governance or state or law always comes with multiples of opinions and facts that you need to weigh to find out what exactly took place. I find it worrisome that our law enforcement functions so haphazardly. We have no communication of any value. Today we didn't get communication. We did not get communication from the Ministry of National Security, from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, even from the Ministry of Communication of the government. We got communication from the Ministry of Works and Transport. This government doesn't appear to have an idea how to manage the country, how to manage a situation like the situation that took place today. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service in this business a long time now. You're going after two reputed gang lords, drug lords, gangsters, whatever they are. You're supposed to know how to pull off this. You're going into the beta, and we've done this before. This is not the first time. So how much of this is inept and foolish? How much of this is planned and stunt? I don't know. At this point, I can't pin anything down in Trinidad and say, this is the reason why this took place. I know, like everybody else, I mean, Marlene McDonald was fired for taking a picture with somebody that is supposed to be known to the police. if he's known to the police and you could fire a government minister over it, what does that mean? Is he wanted by the law? Is his association too much to allow for her to become a minister? And if so, anybody who has questions to answer to law, then doesn't that taint Keith Rowley, his association with Nazim Bash and AV Oil and the fake oil? And these are the questions that Trinidadians are asking now, and they're asking these questions because the country does not feel like it's being operated like a real country. So we do not know tonight what exactly took place. All we know is the machinery of state, the Ministry of National Security that cost us $50 billion in the last 10 years, the Ministry of National Security, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that cost $2.25 billion this year, all of those things together, not enough to quell the reaction to the arrest of, and if that was an arrest, we don't even know. The media in Trinidad and Tobago does a piss poor job of informing the population of what exactly is taking place. So it leaves the people of Trinidad and Tobago to panic, speculate, and rumor.
Lack of information. That's the game being played.
You just drove through there.
I am very passing through there. The traffic. There was some traffic, not heavy traffic flow. There were a couple police units on the side of the road by the Lavas, as well on the other side by where the gas station is at. But again, why are we having to go through this type of mayhem? If the government is doing their job, because I got a text and a voice message actually with a guy saying something about along the lines of two of their people were arrested, as well as I think some CPEP workers weren't getting paid or something along those lines, or haven't gotten their salary, and they made a call to rob everyone and anyone coming into Port of Spain.
Yes.
And
we also want to apologize, and you should try to look at the cameras as much as possible. We apologize for the position.
We
had to put this together quickly. The main studio is under renovation as we speak. But yeah, Tony, the reality is, again, why leave the population nothing but speculation? The situation as of now, we have Nikki Crosby. She just put out a video.
yeah.
She was attacked. Her vehicle was attacked, I believe. We have another video from a woman from West Morris. Now, there are a lot of issues here. So let's take it apart one by one. First and foremost, the people of Betham, who I want to hear what exactly took place, and I want to hear what took place, so I'm not going to rush to judge what exactly took place, but I want to say something. Don't be attacking innocent citizens. They're not the source of your problem. Too many people in this country, from government come right down, seem to think that the solution to their problems is hold the country hostage. The unions hold the country hostage. WASA is holding the country hostage. Failure of government is holding the country hostage. And now you can't drive down the meter at risk. So about 5 years ago, there was a conversation about building a wall. Should there be a wall? Because in major metropolitan areas in the world, where you have a major artery that connects the capital city to the rest of the country, and 250,000 people drive that road every day, morning and evening. So, should there not be a conversation about separating pedestrian and other traffic from that motorway?
Makes sense.
I would say that would be good both ways. Not only for the moving traffic, but also for the safety of children and young people in that area who may find easy access outside of the development onto the highways and so on.
Right.
Many times I see children, and when I say children, I mean from 4 to 16, 17 years old, running across that highway trying to get over on the other side. And my immediate response is, this is so unsafe, this is so dangerous. And then I go about doing what I have to do, and most of the times you'd find that citizens are not paying attention to the danger that poses. I mean, yes, it's a depressed area, and I think more should be done to help the people of that area, but in the meantime you're looking at safety with crossing the highway. So I would support putting a wall there, and though it may come across as though you're blocking the people out because you're removing access to where they need to get to go, it's also safety. And sometimes you have to look at, because who is going to be liable for someone crossing that highway and getting knocked down? Who's going to be responsible for that?
And I'll tell you that landfill there, that lavas across there, that's a big money maker for people from
Yes.
that Beetham area itself. So one way or next, you can put how many walls you want. They will find a way to
Yeah.
get over there because
Yeah.
again, that's bread and butter in most cases.
Let's look at it from a governance point of view. You have a country on autopilot mismanaged for 55 years. We have a situation where to get into the capital city of the country, you have to drive past the largest depressed community, which by itself is a problem. We've never had social development management take place in this country. So the people of Morpha, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots have been isolated to their own devices. The only time we hear about them is during moments like this. This is not the first, fourth, or fifth. This is what happens when the people of Morpha, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots have had enough. This is a country where people have nowhere to turn for redress. And let's face that. So they're going to act out and they're going to act up. But what are we, the rest of the country, supposed to do? Because you have a situation where the poorest class are attacking the rest of the citizens because they feel that the government is not taking them seriously or that the state is doing them wrong. Why do we not have any mechanisms in place to address the needs of citizens, the average person? We've had governments come and governments go. Because Morpha, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots are seen to be PNM strongholds, diehard communities, the PNM does nothing for them. The PNM does absolutely nothing for them.
Well, because they don't need to. They believe that they have the support no matter what. They don't need to do a lot to convince the people to vote for them there because they are considered guaranteed votes. So they don't really need to invest anything in terms of infrastructure, time, effort, or consideration into Beetham. So why would they? The people of Beetham need to understand or recognize their worth to the government, and what they need to do is to make sure that the government understands it. And I'm not talking about protesting violently. You need to let them know where it counts, and that is at the polling stations.
Absolutely, but prior to now, because there's never been a real strong third alternative outside of the tribal, racist, ethnic parties. To Morpha, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots voting the UNC into office is equivalent to Caroni voting the PNM into office. You will feel isolated and without representation. The NAR, that experiment was still the same two parties because everybody came together and formed the NAR, and it was PNM versus the NAR. The Congress of the People fought one election and then joined up and formed a People's Partnership which nullified the existence of the Congress of the People. The people of Morpha, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots, you're correct. They need proper political representation. But are they prepared to do what it takes to get that representation? Are they prepared? The Member of Parliament for Laventille East is Fitzgerald Hines. He failed as the Member of Parliament for Laventille West. He does not live in either Laventilles. He lives in Mocha in Maraval, in a multi-million-dollar mansion, in a multi-million-dollar community. He will never know the needs of the people of Laventille East or West, and still they put up with that foolishness. Now, you riot today because the police arrest two people. When Nylon Hippolyte had gotten 22 of the 25 party groups in the PNM supporting him as the candidate for elections, and Keith Rowley and his crew kicked Nylon out, it said to the people of Laventille East or West, I can't remember which one it was, you have no say. The PNM is not a democracy. This is not a democratic election. You take the crapo that we put in our Balize tie and suck salt. And that is what is going on now. The conditions of Mova, Beetham, Laventille, Sealots, and all of the other depressed communities in the country is as a direct result of that. That the people do not get political representation from either of these two parties. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and I want to make sure that I come across as even-handed, when Kamla Prasad Bisesa flung Barry Padarat at Naparima, because he lives Couva North, when she flung Rodney Charles, which one, where Rodney Charles is the member of parliament for? Nobody knows, nobody cares. These were afterthoughts, last minutes, take that, that is a representative. That's not what the parliament is for. That's not what government is for. And the reason the country is collapsing is you're voting one character into office and their band of merry men.
I want to ask Tony a question so that people who were not subjected to what happened on the highway this evening or today, I want to ask Tony a question. Knowing what you knew about what had happened earlier on, how did you feel before you entered that area? I mean, what were your thoughts?
I wasn't fair. I wasn't fair. I actually was concerned because I did not know if I was driving down the street and a big stone bust my glass, or, you know what I mean, someone runs in the middle of the road. Now I have a choice to make. Is either I run this person over and commit murder, or stop and possibly them commit murder where I am the dead one.
When you got up this morning, as a business person in this country, did you ever think that that would be a choice you would have to make today?
No, I did not think that.
The reason why I'm asking these questions is because people need to know that a lot has changed. Society, this country is broken. And these are choices now that we are being asked to make. You are leaving your home and you are not knowing what is going to happen to you and what choices you are going to have to make out there to affect human life. And like Tony just said, you are driving into Port of Spain and you are driving in fear, the capital city of Trinidad and Tobago. Where does that leave us as a society and a country?
I will say this. As a citizen, my purpose in being here supporting this initiative by the PEP is because it makes sense. What's happening out there in Trinidad and Tobago is not making sense at all. And it has not been making sense for 55 years. Now, I think that the population need to realize this is just the tip of the iceberg, because if we think that was mayhem today, and that was just one area, one community coming into Port of Spain, it was Sealots, Beetham area.
Yes.
That was it. Now, what happens when you have Enterprise in Central that suddenly decide to go haywire? What other, hard community in the southern side?
What if it's a systematic plan? What if they all get together and say, this is what we're going to do? What happens to this country?
Exactly.
The tax-paying people in this country, the citizens, the hard-working, law-abiding citizens in this country will be held at ransom.
No,
when this happened today, my first thought was, where are my children? Are my children safe? Let me find out where my children are. And I never thought I would have had to feel that sort of fear for my family, not knowing what was happening, if I was able to get to them, if they were able to get to me. And this cannot be right.
Yeah, but we have to come back to this. If it's Faris Al Rawi lying to the people in Mbakade and San Fernando West, who's the member of parliament for Chaguanas East now? Who's the member of parliament for Enterprise? Who's the member of parliament there now? Who's stunting there? Whoever that is that's leaving Enterprise behind, if it's Keith Rowley that's leaving Scorpion and Bigya and Abbey Pujar and La Puerta and Rich Plain and Covine, because those places just as hot. If it's Fitzgerald Hines leaving Laventille East behind, these people, you cannot just treat with this situation, lock up and lock down, and not treat the problem at the root. I asked Robert Amar today on a radio show, and I said, if everything that you could do fails you, and you cannot get work and you cannot get an income and you are starving, would you starve? Would you allow yourself to starve to death? And he said, no. I said, that's where crime starts. And if you had to go home every evening with not enough money, no matter how hard you work, to take care of all of your children and to meet their needs, as simple as they are, you wouldn't let your children starve. That's where crime starts. Social development and management comes down to an understanding that all communities need to have the same basic access to the same basic rights and amenities. People are supposed to be able to have access to jobs. You are the prime minister of the country. If you do not understand that 100% employment is the goal, and if you can't do it, fire yourself, fire yourself. If you do not understand that people need to be able to afford to pay for a mortgage and to buy food and to pay for medicine if they need medication for themselves or their loved ones on a minimum wage salary, that's the job. That's what you auditioned for. That's what you came to ask for, Keith Rowley. You and Stuart Young and Colm Imbert and the rest of the stunt brigade, Randall Mitchell and all the rest of these fools. If you do not understand that the people of Morva, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots have the same rights as the people of Newberry Hill and Glencoe and Fairways and Mocha, you're going to see more of this because you'll have driven the country to ruin. And the average person now is left. These people are left with no choice but to commit crime. And if these people that they arrested today were gang leaders, and these gang leaders was putting food on these people's table, they see them as more important to their livelihood and their children's well-being than the government of the country.
That's right.
The government of the country has made it so that these people have had no choice. And until we as a people in this country start to vote sensibly, again we have to come back to this whole concept of a rising tide lifts all boats. The middle class is dying because the lowest class is dying. The lowest class is who spends the most money in all businesses in this country. Rich people don't shop in American stores. Rich people don't shop in Sapga and Standards Place. Rich people import their furniture by the container and leave the container outside the house for 2 weeks so the neighbors can see they spend a couple $100,000. It is poor people going in Courts and Standards and taking furniture on credit. And it is them to keep every business in business. The middle class is dying because government has eviscerated the lowest classes. And we need now to stand up now and right-size all of our hotspots and all of our at-risk communities. We need to establish a basic minimum line under which no citizen should fall.
Can I ask you a question for that? Don't mean to cut you off, but what in your mind do you think is the reason why government, as far as the Lebanon administration passing through our tenure of independence, not being able to give the people spending power? What is the reasoning behind that? Do you have any idea or any theory?
If you look at the last 4 governments, because the Pandey UNC is different to the Kamla Prasad Bisesa UNC, insofar that the Pandey UNC was beholding to Brian Kwaitong and Russell Huggins and Johnny Soong and Steve Ferguson and Ish Galbaran Singh. Those were the string pullers for Basdeo Pandey. And when Basdeo Pandey needed to get some blackness into the party, he went to Lawrence Dupre, who put Carlos John as Pandey's right-hand man. Those were the people who pulled Pandey strings, not the voters. The people who pulled Kamla strings was the Calcos and the SIS and the Malcos and all of these people that before this UNC came to power had nothing, and all of a sudden they're billionaires. The people who pull the Manning's strings, Calder Hearts, and those people, and now this overt cabal, the Sabga clan. The Sabga clan is on everything now, right now, and a couple other of that cabal that is pulling the strings behind this Rowley government. The people of Trinidad and Tobago have been fooled time and again by the PNM and the UNC into believing that these governments represented the people or had any interest in the people. And I want to say this to Trinidad and Tobago without fear of contradiction, and I will debate from the top go down, because I want to see Tim Gopi Singh answer for what's going on in the education facilities company right now and that Junior Sammy bill. I know they have people who can't call certain people name in this country, but I am not one of those people. And I want to understand how Junior Sammy getting all those contracts to build all those schools. I want to know which are the contractors that got paid in full to build schools and the schools never built. This is the kind of nonsense that has been going on in the country, and those same people in Morva, Bitam, Labaton and Sealox that riot today, they know it too. They know that from the top, government has been fooling this nation and robbing the treasury. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we have to bring that to a complete close now, because we are running out of time. They are mortgaging your children's future. I want you to understand. Colm Imbert, as a Minister of Finance, is deficit financing every budget to the tune of $55 to $60 billion. What that means in simple, plain English is 5 years and 10 years from now, all those loans will come due for whoever sitting in the parliament then. And Roger and Duke and whoever replaced them could march till they cry blood. There will be no money, and the IMF will come and take over Trinidad and Tobago. You have to understand. Everything that is taking place right now, we've been discussing this every single night. The country is being mismanaged, the treasury is being pillaged, and the people of Trinidad and Tobago have to stand up now. This, today, it just starts. It's going to get worse.
The party now start.
I think once you've seen revolution, and I really don't want to use that word, but I can't think of another word right now. I think if you have seen or witnessed the start of a revolution, it is that one thread that you pull that witnesses the unraveling of the entire fabric of society. I mean, Philip mentioned something earlier on today, and I want to highlight that because I think people need to understand that this is our last chance.
Yes.
If we do not correct what is happening to this country and what has happened before, Trinidad and Tobago want you all to understand this is our last chance. If this does not change, I hope that many of you are prepared to take your families and leave this country, because this country is going to become a hell to live in. And I'm going to say it again. This is our last chance.
But that's only the middle class. The poorest class right now, the reality of the situation is Donald Trump not opening the doors for them. Trinidadians getting sent back in droves to a country where there are no jobs. When you shut down Caroni Green and you shut down the Iron and Steel Company, just those two. I mean, the amount of public sector workers that have been sent home, all of those people now, you are taking spending power out of the economy. Each of them represents a percentage of the business, the small average business community survival. There are businesses in this country that do not need anybody to push their doors for them to register $100,000 in sales at the end of the night. This is a country where these little small fry drug pushers that getting arrested are not the ones that are responsible for the hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cocaine that have been found in this country on at least 4 occasions. In my lifetime, we've crossed $4 billion in cocaine passed through this country. We have a situation where the people in this country do not know who to trust, who to turn to, who to call. If a man robbing you and you call the police and you don't know if the police working with the man, this is the nonsense that we hear. We have to call a spade now. The country is broken to a point where we need to undo and redo at a very basic level.
And critical level. I don't think people go about it. This is no longer a time where you can go about your day reading something bad that has happened in the news or listening to something bad that has happened on social media. It is at your door. And it is time that the amount of people that would have passed through Beetham today in fear would have had an understanding of where this country has become today. It is frightening, and the people are no longer venturing outdoors. The people that are surviving in this country under these current conditions are those that have made the country this way today.
The Progressive Empowerment Party stands for an undo and a redo of all critical institutions of state. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, as set up now, all the candidates for Commissioner of Police right now in this country, not one of them are properly qualified to be Commissioner. Tonight, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago this. My good friend Gary Griffith should not be made Commissioner of Police because Gary Griffith is too close and too friendly with too many of these same corrupt politicians. And Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police will not be able to oversee bringing them to justice. And I may have to lose Gary as a friend to say that. But we need to look at it from the top down. What in this country works? It is orchestrated and organized to fail forward. It is failing into people's bank accounts. We don't have a single person right now that you could point at and say, I saw Wayne Meister. And Wayne Meister is one of the few senior police officers that I would have hoped would have been able to throw his hat into the ring. I don't know what KPMG did and what KPMG experience is in choosing a police commissioner. But I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago, that entire process is fraud. That entire process is failure. And we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are going to lose again. You have a chief executive officer of the regional health authorities that have no idea what the hell they're doing. And all that's happening in those organizations is money being stolen. Healthcare is sick care in this country. Our education system is pure failure. All of the money that is budgeted for education, less than 10% paying salaries. The rest is being funneled through the EFCL into contractors' pockets. All of those special purpose companies, Vebcot, Udicot, Sport TT, EFCL, EMBD, go and check all of them. It's the same rogue gallery of the same 10, 15, 20 companies providing the same service. How the hell is that possible in this country? How could we be spending those many billions of dollars every year and have this to show for it? What took place today was a failure of law enforcement coupled with a failure of governance. We are a failed nation. And the day we start to recognize, we need to realize this before it comes down to state of emergency and martial law and suspension of civil rights. And I think that is where Mugabe Rowley trying to go. I think that is where Mugabe Rowley trying to go. Yes. He is trying to make the country ungovernable, yes, so that they can rule by fiat. And we are saying, I am putting them on notice tonight, the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is the supreme law. And we are going to stand on that.
You hit that nail so flush. Because at the end of the day, I mean, what else could be the motive behind the way the environment is? Why is the country being governed this way? It makes no sense. You're talking about a man who has a doctorate in front of his name, Dr. Keith Rowley. All right? You're supposed to be an educated man. You're supposed to be a forward-thinking person. We are not.
He is. That which is the reason why they have this plan in place, perhaps, to see the country fail.
Correct.
I want you to give me the name of a single public servant. From His Excellency the President, come as low as you're prepared to go. I want you to pick just one and tell me that you're proud of that person and the work that they are doing. Find one.
Doing or have done? This is present or past and present?
It had to be present because we're dealing with a country that's failing now.
All right.
Who in this country, we have a Chief Justice in open ridicule. He is in open ridicule, odium. He is bringing the office he holds into disrepute. We have a Director of Public Prosecutions that says nothing to nobody. We don't know what's going on. The Integrity Commission has been stalled. They've given it just enough money to breathe on life support, but that's it. They cannot hold anybody to account. Half the parliament is not compliant with the Integrity in Public Life Act, so they shouldn't even be in the parliament. The same DPP should be prosecuting them. There is nothing. There is nobody. The Judicial and Legal Service Commission just collapsed on itself appointing judges in this country. Nothing that is happening now, this whole thing that's happening now, and this is PNM UNC madness, because the UNC have their version of this madness too. So you put either one of these crapo bandwagons into government, and it is lower and lower we sink. the financiers, the contractors, the businessmen, the Chamber of Commerce in this country should be ashamed. Somebody need to go and sprinkle holy water on that building in Westmoreland. The Chamber of Commerce should be ashamed. I can name one company, Kiss Baking Company, fooling people, calling little hustlers, entrepreneurs, and breaking the law, have them vending illegally on the side of the road every day. If you, the average person, start up your own little vending business, right next to that Quelo entrepreneur, police come in to seize your stuff. Because it's only Kiss could break the law. And that is madness. We cannot continue to run the country with one law for one and one law for another. I am hoping, I am praying, I am betting that there are more good people in this country than people who are under the thumb of whatever secret society is making all of these judgment calls. We have situations where there are public office holders that cannot account for their own actions. And we let it, we continue to sweep it under the rug. That cannot continue. Who do you go to and say this entire process to appoint the Commissioner of Police is fraudulent and broken? Who do you complain to? There is nobody. Because the PNM and the UNC only interested in how fat and how fast they could steal. Every contract, every project, every single thing built in this country was predicated first on stealing money. I watched a journalist write 6 articles against the sitting chairman of a state company, National Quarries. Go and Google it. Because her boyfriend and his brother, a PNM lawyer for life, was trying to get a groundwater contract from the same chairman. So they were strong-arming him through the express. Now you tell me, this is the country you living in. Tonight, this is what we're dealing with. And that riot, we think that is the problem. That riot is joke.
We have a situation where the people of Tobago have grown so tired of protesting and crying that they're just trying to live with it now. I cannot explain or understand why to date we have had no information coming back from the tenders for the ferry. What is the problem? Why are we not getting that sorted out? What are they trying to not get out into the public that they don't want the public to know? What could possibly be the hold up for getting a ferry service for Tobago? I have said several times, I have asked several times for information and update. The last we heard on that was Rohan Sinanan saying that he has asked for an update from the Port Authority. And I don't understand how that works because he seems to be very much involved in the entire process. So it's obviously because there's information they don't want us to have about the appointment of a ferry.
Again, sweeping it under the carpet.
But it's not something that we're going to forget because this time around we have our lives invested in this country. This time around, the people that are at risk are the people that are speaking out. I am one of them. And I am not going to sit back and allow the people that are in government, these career politicians, to destroy a country that I intend to leave behind for my children. I am asking each one of you concerned about your families tonight to think about it. Because choosing between both or the lesser of two evils, that's not going to work for you now. You need to think about you. The UNC, the PNM, that you think support you, belongs to your racial persuasion, they don't care about you. They're not supporting you. They're supporting the people that are responsible for putting them in power. You are not one of those. So you need to start thinking about your family, you need to start thinking about yourself, and you need to start thinking about your country because that is where you live.
It comes down to this. We either allow what is going on now between the PNM and the UNC to continue to the peril and the destruction of Trinidad and Tobago, because make no mistake, what comes to Trinidad and Tobago, all of the signs of a failed state. We have foreign nationals being financed by dirty money, opening businesses on every corner to launder international dirty money. We have madness going on at every level. The country is not being managed. It is not being run. It is broken. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because let me tell you something. Suzette said it earlier. Those who could afford to leave will leave. Those who could afford to leave will leave. Everybody, look at them, fighting for end, fighting for a post, fighting for a position, fighting for opportunity to give out contracts, fighting. Check what's going on at the top. Check what's going on at the highest level right now of state. Check it out. This country is totally mismanaged. The corruption is at every point and every level.
Yes, it is.
Director. Left? Right. For those of you who are now tuning in, this is a combination of the Frontline show that was supposed to take place tonight plus my normal live video. We put the two together to deal with the issue of the riot that was taking place in Beetham today. Please feel free to share the video as much as you could. I just realized that one of the pages, it's shared on both pages, my page and the PEP page, and on my page the privacy settings was off, so we just opened it up. Please feel free to share it as widely as you could. Tony, the business community. What is the business community prepared to do and say? Because at the end of the day right now, all of the small businesses seem to be being sacrificed, and they are in the crosshairs.
Well, I'll tell you, from the people that I have spoken to, my own peers within business, again, these are small business people you're talking about, and they themselves, they're giving the support towards the PP. They think it's a breath of fresh air, and they're waiting for the time that election calls. The medium-sized business to the corporate-sized businesses are the ones that I think is the interesting discussion, because in some cases, some of these entities are the ones who are financing one side of the fence or the other, if not both. But aside from that, I think small business people are certainly, they are, from who I have spoken to, they all like what is happening where PP is concerned. I do have a few business people who are not crazy about you, but again, like I say to them, it's not about personality, it's about getting the job done. You know what I mean? And
no, you know what I would like to say to all of them? Step up. Put your own life at risk. Put yourself at risk of victimization, political victimization from both parties. Step up, don't just talk. I know what it takes to do what I do. And it's easy to sit behind the scenes and hide and talk about people. This country didn't get like this just because of some corrupt businessmen and some corrupt politicians.
True.
It got like this because of a general malaise and laziness. We never stood up for this country. What we are doing here now as this party, we call this the Orange Revolution for a reason.
That's right.
This party is unbeholden to any of the financiers, any of the traditional corporations that have benefited, one in, one out, change, exchange, lesser evil nonsense. They give you this bullshit to hold that either of these parties care about you. It's simple to sit down and eviscerate my name while trillions of dollars have been stolen by the same two political parties that you've either been voting for or worse.
But they're trying hard.
You've been saying that you're not into politics, but politics into you.
The propaganda, they're trying hard.
Politics was into the Beetham today. Somebody going to ask if I say that, how the government responsible? That is government failure. If you do not understand that the well-being of the citizenry is the only purpose for government, get out the conversation. That is the only purpose. It is not who look good in what color, or
correct.
who hair straight, or who wear what shoes.
Correct.
The only purpose for government is the well-being of the citizenry. And what took place in Beetham today was a cry for help.
Yes.
No, and look,
Yeah.
Trinidad and Tobago is a matter of putting a body in place that can get the job done. That's the bottom line. It is the bottom line. You cannot stand and say you're supporting the UNC or supporting the PNM, and you're talking 55 years. These are people and entities that's been in office time and time again. Where is the change? There's no change. When are we going to say enough? I say no, now is enough. Again, I'm not with this guy because I'm trying to pitch marble and be friends with him. He has initiative and plans which I myself has dissect. I've gotten my own people on my end to dissect.
Colm Imbert called Keith Rowley a crook. Keith Rowley's financer, Emil Elias, took Colm Imbert to court. Emil Elias said, and it is published in the media, that if the public knew what he knew about Colm Imbert would be in jail. Half of them, Marlene MacDonald, who they're swearing in, sit down behind Manning and thump the desk when Manning fired Rowley. When Manning said Rowley stole money in Landate and Cleaver Heights. This is the country you're in.
Yeah.
You just watched the UNC under Kamla Prasad Bisesa steal an internal election. Threaten Rudal Monilal with a jail. They threatened Rudal Monilal with a jail. And when he backed down and backed off and didn't challenge Kamla, they replaced it with a civil lawsuit. This country is games and stunting right through. So listen, I have zero interest in the personality games. We either fix this country or we forget it.
That's right. That is right. That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. It cannot be about personality. It has to be about a sound plan with proper foundation and moving the country forward. And again, the key element, bringing spending power to the population.
What happened in Beaton today was a cry for help, Suzette. That was a cry for help. That was the people of Morva, Beaton, Lavantel, and Silots saying, we are underrepresented, we are isolated, we are left to our own devices. This is what feeding us, and if you take this, we in trouble.
But they are at the bottom of the barrel as well. I'm not meaning to cut you off there. They are in the most need.
Yes.
If you don't fix Morva, Beaton, Lavantel, and Silots, forget the game.
That's right.
Regardless of how racial you want to be. Morva, Beaton, Lavantel, and Silots is the reason you have wrought iron in your house.
Correct.
If you don't fix the lowest sections of society, you will continue to spend money on foolishness, on burglar alarms, on bodyguards. You're going to tell your children, come home, don't go further than the next street. You're going to be worried till they reach home. You can't live. You have 9 locks on your front door. You can't be happy. We watch a video today, a man in Westmall walk up to a car, rip a mirror off and gone. People just, they stop caring.
And that is the start. I would say that you know that you have had the worst because the country is at the worst it has ever been. And now that you know what the worst is, what could you possibly have more to lose? Why not give the PEP a chance to prove that we can fix this country and we can provide the same opportunities for your children that everybody else in the west of Port of Spain and the south of Trinidad are being allowed to do.
Let's discuss the $25 billion that the PNM and the UNC stole to cover Dupre, who should have made a jail. Dupre and his band of bandits should have all made a jail. In any other country, they would have been arrested and prosecuted for raiding the fiduciary responsibility of Gita Sakal and that $25 million check she wrote herself. I mean, what the obscenity, what took place in that commission of inquiry? The PricewaterhouseCoopers, a company chartered, was exposed as having published fictional accounts for years at the behest of Dupre and some merry men who sit in the parliament now, PNM and UNC, as then the CLICO CL Financial Accounts Committee signed off on the fictional accounts, knowing it was fair. Ask Faris Al-Rawi, ask Mervyn Assam. Listen, you cannot for a minute excuse that the National Insurance Board took people's health money to invest with Malcolm Jones under Patrick Manning for a failed gas to liquids plant that they never even finished it. $3.5 billion lost. Kamla just built a hospital for $1.5 billion. People telling me, think about the children, think about the children. Think about my half-red ass. $1.5 billion could have taken every sick child in this country, first class, to John Hopkins Hospital, pay their bill for the next 500 years. So miss me with that. We need to call a spade a spade. The UNC has to answer for that Cuba hospital the same way the PNM have to answer for a Taruba stadium that was budgeted at $136 million that ballooned to $1.2 billion. The Scarborough Hospital that was $125 million finished at $1.1 billion. Napa, Sapa, and Tapa, $560 million, cross $1 billion. The $25 billion, just that was stolen and covered Kliku, that could have built 200,000 houses. Mova, Beetham, Laventel, and Sealots wouldn't be in the condition it is in today if we had taken that money and used it to intervene in the hotspots and the at-risk communities and give those people hope and opportunity.
That's right.
But we didn't do that.
That's right.
We're playing stuntman games.
Yeah.
We want a massive poverty class.
But I don't want to fix the community.
No, because you cannot govern educated people. So you need people who will not fight against whatever you put out there
Not
into the public.
that you can't govern, you can't fool educated people.
And yes, indeed. And you know, when you think about it, you have a group of people in the UNC, a group of people in the PNM, and a group of their friends that are filthy rich. And you are still poor, you're still suffering, and you voted for them. What does that tell you? The people that benefited from either party being in power have benefited. Have you? But then you need to ask yourself, what is it that you want from your country and what are you expecting from your government? And if you've not gotten that from the past and present government, you need to make a change.
The well-being of the citizens is the only purpose of governance. The well-being of the citizens is the only purpose for governance, for government. If we do not have governments that look after the well-being of the citizens, they failed. When they fail, you're supposed to have the means and the mechanism to fire them. We don't even have that.
I mean, when you look at the parties go out and they campaign, and what troubles me the most, and I guess probably because it's a lot of emotion attached to it for me, when you see the hope and the expectation, the innocent expectation in the eyes of those people that you are asking to vote for you, and you stand on that stage and you tell them that you're going to fix their broken communities and you're going to provide for their hungry children, and you get into office and you turn your backs on them, have you no conscience? Don't you think about these people when you steal money from this country that could have gone into that community to help them? Is it okay to lie to an entire country for the sake of your own financial well-being? Where are your morals?
So that you have to understand how these parties are assembled. A business community summoned Patrick Manning when he was no longer doing what they wanted him to do as the PNM. And they fired him while he was the Prime Minister. And he said, you can't fire me. And Camille Robinson Regis and Keith Rowley and the rest of them organized to go Barbados and had a meeting to join with Kamla Persad-Bissessar to fire Manning in the Parliament. And Keith Rowley stood up and told the nation, when it is time for dry docking, we will dry dock the PNM and we will fix it. Some businessman appointed Keith Rowley as political leader of the PNM. You all remember of any internal election in the PNM between when Manning lost and when Keith Rowley was anointed? Not one.
True.
There was no internal election. Somebody appointed Keith Rowley. A business organization owns the PNM. Not Balisay House and the Fat Ass Brigade and all these sycophants like your partner Miguel Donovan, all these fools who talking nonsense all over Facebook, who they tell you, we black, you black, vote with me and you're nice. So they're taking that chain up and that foolishness and talking nonsense all over town. Not them. The people who get telegraphed into top positions. Stuart Young claimed to fame was he was Rowley lawyer, but he was never a member of the PNM. He told me that. Now he get telegraphed in and he's the PRO of the party and he's the minister of everything. Faris Al-Rawi come from nowhere. from nowhere. Others jump ship from UNC straight into the PNM. And all those same people in the Fat Ass Brigade and all the rest of them who go and sit down in the savannah 2 weeks ago and listen to Keith Rowley and the rest of them talk utter bullshit and take that chain up. They have nothing to get. And they need to understand how politics in this country works. Because that business community that owns the party, and we're going to run a little longer than the time because of the privacy settings on the video. But that business organization that owns, and it is a group of business people that Kamala answers to. It is a group of business people. When Monilal was running the HDC, it was business people that were benefiting. Go and read the article in the Express of the billions of dollars that passed through the HDC under the UNC People's Partnership. It is an insane situation that we accept. When you think that you look at these people and you think that Keith Rowley, when he swore on that holy book to do well by all people without fear or without malice or ill will, fear or favor, all that was bullshit. All that was theater. I show people a picture of Rowley when he shake Kamona's hand. The two of them couldn't make eye contact. That's when you know you're lying. I am so fed up of what passes for leadership in this country. And people tell me, stop talking about what went before. Until you really know what transpired before, you can't know how vexed you're supposed to be, you know. The average Trinidadian cannot picture what $1 million is. And if I tell them $1 billion is 1,000 million, they don't know what to do with that. So when you tell them trillions of dollars have been stolen, well, you might as well be talking Greek.
Are we going to be taking any calls?
You could take calls, yeah. 682-2110. You could call and add your own piece.
I'd especially like to hear someone from the Betham call in and tell us, you know, what the experience was today and people who were in the traffic when it happened, so that the people of Trinidad and Tobago can get a real idea and indication as to what transpired today and how this affected people.
I didn't watch the media tonight, but I could bet money that it was the same nonsense and the same nonsense footage and the same foolishness that took place to pretend that this is the all that is the news. Nobody gets past that surface issue to ask, why were these people willing to risk jail and bullets? Why are they so angry? Why would they hurl themselves at other people? Nikki Crosby is a victim, and I tell you, the man who threw the stone at her in her car is a victim too. I don't know what it said.
The Mio battery is critically low.
Oh my gosh. Felicia could deal with that. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, how are you doing? Good night, sir.
Felicia.
Good night to you and the panel.
Good night.
Good night.
My wife, she sent you a video tonight of Nikki Crosby, tearful breakdown of what transpired on the beaten, and you can have seen fear. Nikki was going to do her nails and hair, and she was fearful for her life. And I would like you to look at the video because it's on your messenger. And you said earlier in among your videos that only when it reaches home, knocking on your door, and it struck home what you said. And I would like you all to really take a look at it and see where we reach as a country. Thanks again for your time.
Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Brazil in Trinidad, San Rafael.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for your call.
You're welcome, so have a good night.
You too.
And keep up doing it, keep the job, keep it going.
Thank you, my friend. I wonder if I could put my hands on that video to play it.
Which video? The
Nikki Crosby.
I think Tony has it. I mean, when you listen to that caller just now, and you listen to the tone of his voice, you can tell that this is someone who has seen the anguish of another person and understands or can relate to it. And this is something that the citizens of this country have no right to be going through. I don't care
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Philip?
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.
Yes.
I just wanted to find out, you all were talking about the NIS. Is the NIS contributions you all were talking about? Is the NIS is in trouble?
National Insurance Board, yes.
Right. Well, you have to investigate because a lot of companies were delinquent in their payments back in the day, including BWI. And in addition to that, the NIS record keeping was atrocious because I have been a victim of that. When I went in there, they had no records of me after paying 27 years of NIS. But I straightened it out. Thank God I kept my TD4s. So I just want you to know exactly what went on so that you'll be able, and these are the facts, that you'll be able to correct the situation.
Thank you very much
Whether
for that.
it's people not making the contributions or whether it's other people using the monies for
All the
other
money is
things.
being mismanaged.
Thank you very much for
Thank
that.
you. Have a nice evening.
And that's a fact. And if you don't have proper records to prove that you're entitled to this money, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You will be in trouble.
The onus is upon you to provide that information. They don't have to go back into their records because they're not mandated to do it. So you have to provide that information.
But it's worse than that now because if it continues as it's going, there's not going to have money to be able to pay the people who are supposed to be due and owing. 682-2110, if you would like to add your piece to the conversation. We apologize for starting late. Some of you are going to have to catch it on the rerun, the privacy settings on one of the pages, but it's being broadcast both. I don't know what the director's telling me. Everything's under control? Everything's under control. Nice.
I just sent it to you.
Yes, fantastic. The Nikki Crosby video, you sent it to me? How long is this video?
About 5 minutes, I think.
Alright, let me okay. The technology defeats me sometimes. Let's see volume.
Hi everybody, I don't think I've ever made one of these videos where I'm just talking directly to camera about just me, but
There's a call coming in.
There's a call coming in, so that's going to interrupt it. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, good night, everyone.
night.
This is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Navi. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah. So I just wanted to just share my perspective to Trinidad and Tobago tonight because I was one of those people who, I claimed to step up and, try to be there for the party, but I was planning to come this evening after work, by myself, because my partner, he usually comes with me, but he was working. And despite hearing all of these things, I said, I have a responsibility to the party because I said, this is what I want to do, and not living fair. But then when he came home and he explained to me how much I mean to him and he can't take it upon himself to risk my life to come. He wasn't really too concerned about himself. And then I was concerned for him, and I realized that I couldn't make that decision for him to put his life at risk to come and bring me. And I was stuck, and the good thing is that, PEP moves as a family, and, everybody was like, we have a plan, you don't study it, we go fix up. Right? And I understand that everybody always battling this decision of straddling the fence, staying at home and taking the next step. And I just want to encourage people to come out on Saturday and join the PEP family and listen to us, because Tony still came out tonight, and Tony is a father, and he still came, and thank God that he made it safely. Thank God nothing happened to Suzette and Philip, and they still came here tonight and came here for the community, because obviously we wanted to hear from the PEP family. And because if you see the numbers, a lot of us turning out here tonight because we have hope And at least we recognize in that PEB is the opportunity. And even though I didn't come out tonight, please come out and join us and stay with us online and come on Saturday. And there are people who are asking, well, what is it that we are going to do to fix this? Because we only talk about problems on the feed. And I just want to tell those commenters, we're already doing something because we not beholden ourselves to financiers. And we given ourselves financial independence. So at least we're starting from there, from this principle where we're not going to be disadvantaged from the get-go, which is what creates this problem in the first place, right? And anything else you want to find out, we have PEB policies at a glance, we have these documents, we have the literature, and then we make ourselves available every Saturday to everyone. So come on down and do your civic duty and your responsibility and your research and come and talk to us, because we're free to talk to everybody. Sorry, I went on a bit long.
No. Thanks a lot for that, Sarah. Thanks a lot. And I'm sorry you couldn't come. And I want to tell you that a lot of the people who wouldn't brave, I mean, Tony is just pure gangster. but a lot of people who they were allowed, the nation again was allowed to be panicked. You have no Ministry of Communication, the TTPS, the Ministry of National Security, nobody put out a release to say, forget all of these voice notes that are all over WhatsApp, panicking and frightening the people. Nobody's running the country. Nobody knows what's going on. We are the ones that come out to say, listen, it does not have to be this way and we need to fix this. Anyway, thanks very much for calling in.
Right, you'll have a good night. Take care.
Bye. Yeah, and
I mean, I think people fail to recognize that. I am a mother of 2 young children. They're toddlers. They're at home looking at me right now, speaking to Trinidad and Tobago and pleading for your help to fix this country. I could have been home with my children just like you. But we need to stand up. I have the opportunity to leave this country. It is as much as calling a travel agent tomorrow and booking a flight out of here. I told myself that this is my country. I have a right to live here, and I'm not going to leave this country until it is fixed.
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. Alexander Dyer Jackson, sir.
How are you, Mr. Jackson?
Well, I just want to call and say all of you guys have our support to 100%.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes, sir.
Take care. You know who we want to hear from? We want to hear from the people of Morva, Beetham, Lavantel, and Sealots. Call in now. Call in 682-2110. I know you're all watching. Call in. Call now. Let Trinidad get an idea of what you're going through, because a lot of the disconnect in the conversation is a lack of information and a lack of communication. And people need to know what it feels like tonight to be in the Beetham, to be living in the Beetham, because those are citizens of this country. Those are members of our family as a national family.
Yes.
And we're doing wrong when we're leaving communities, whole communities, isolated and at risk.
What makes you think that your family or your community is better than any other community in this country? We need to treat people fairly and in a very humane manner. When you treat people like second-class and third-class citizens, they're going to start behaving like that, and they don't deserve it.
Indeed.
They don't deserve it. They're the hardest working supporters that you will find in this country, and you turn your backs on them. You leave them to fend for themselves after you've gotten their vote.
You know, to make your point, Keith Rowley has been the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West for 31 years. And the people of Lansmeadown, Scorpion, Big Yard, and Abbey Pujad are a fishing. St. Peter's Day in this country is a fishing celebration. It's like a harvest. And that entire fishing community have been promised a fish market for going on 20 years now. 20 years. We've mismanaged hundreds of millions of dollars earmarked for that market. Signs have been put up. Ground has been broken. Stunt after stunt. And tonight, the people still don't have a fish market. That is an industry that feeds the nation. Carenage fishermen feeds a large part of this country, and they can't even get a proper fish market to do their business.
I believe, I have been advocating this since I have been on Facebook and social media. The public procurement policies and procedure that we have in this country, that needs to change. That is the gateway to all the corruption that goes on in the government system. Because the tendering and the procurement process is so inherently corrupt, it is the formula for the amount of thieving that you have going on in the government and from the treasury. What I'm trying to say is that the government, they need to be removed from the procurement process. We
Absolutely.
need to have that
Arm's
process
length.
at arm's length.
Absolutely.
And it must be an online procedure where the public can have access to the information at any point in time
Robust
to determine.
and transparent.
That's right.
Correct.
And you need to rotate those officers that are responsible for opening, awarding, and so on of the tenders. Rotate them. Keep rotating them like they do in the United States.
Absolutely.
And they must not serve on the board for more than 3 months within the same year.
But that's what the special purpose companies were created to end run a proper, transparent and robust tenders process. What they do now is they go to the parliament and they read a budget and they take money and they put it in their pocket direct, because Sport TT is a criminal enterprise. UDCOT, the Commission of Inquiry, is an indictment on the criminality of this country. What they recommended that be put in place, the special purpose companies need to be shut down.
You know, what I've noticed too, and when you ask for information, and I am saying this because I have worked with procurement processes in the United States of America. I have worked with the federal government, so I know when I tell you that this system can be corrected. At no point in time can you ask any of the public companies to provide you with a copy of a tender document or a tender that was awarded, and they will provide that information for you. In the United States of America, you can log on to this system and download that information that will help you to prepare your tender documents for the same project when it has expired and it's up for tendering again. That's what they use that for. And we cannot do that in Trinidad and Tobago. And the reason why we cannot do that is because there's information inside of there that they do not want the public to see.
Somebody who was just tendering for fire engines told me, he said, Philip, I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to believe. That the government puts out a tender for a brand of fire engines. So that is not a tender, because only one person has the agency for that
It's a
brand.
request for quotation.
That
That's
is not
basically
a
what
tender.
it is.
You've stacked the thing. It's all theater. It's all to fool the people. Procurement, divestment of public funds, divestment of public property, to be able to sell the national gas company. I understand a conglomerate in this country trying very hard. When the chief operating officer of the Ansa Makal Group is put to sit on that board, you think they lent him there for nothing? They want national gas, and it's a billion-dollar enterprise, multi-billion-dollar enterprise. I understand another real estate family in this country is shortlisted, and the shortlist is a list of one, to buy Republic Bank shares. Republic Bank just posted $1.25 billion in profits. Republic Bank shares is part of what we got back from Clico. They're going to fire sale that. They're going to fire sale Angostura. They're fire selling one Woodbrook Place, one apartment at a time. All of this is public funds. All of this is money that's supposed to be taken care. We are dealing, our Caribbean Airlines is a madness. What is going on at Caribbean Airlines is pure corruption. You need to ask Colin Imbert, how is his son involved in the supply of parts for the aircraft at Caribbean Airlines? It is madness right wrong.
To make it simple and for everyone to understand how this works is basically like this. If you remove if you privatize the procurement system, you remove the avenue for the government to funnel money out of the treasury into the hands of their financiers. Basically, the financiers will have no interest in government after that because they cannot get their money back that they put into the party. So they're not going to invest into the government. The government has no way of paying them back. And so nobody is controlling a government at that point in time.
We need a government that comes into power and jail some of these corrupt criminals. You need to jail some of these people. You cannot have, because your government in power, you eating all the food, or when the next government come into power, you fly to Panama. This is the madness that's going on in this country. We need now not just the name and shame. We need to prosecute and jail. We need to seize and auction the assets that were stolen from the people of this country. The $25 billion that went in Clico. Right now, Clico owes CL Financial. I hear Lawrence Dupre trying to get Clico back. Where else in the world you could go and get $25 billion borrowed tax-free, interest-free? Clico owes on top of the $25 billion, $20 billion in interest. Where else in the world? Your partner own a restaurant named Apsara and Tamnak Thai. So you lend your partner $39 million. You buy the property from your partner and then you rent it back to him for cheap rent. And you tell him if ever you want to buy back your building, buy it back for the same money we buy it from you for, no interest. That's national insurance money. Poor people deductions. Wasted. Go now around the Savannah, Siam nightclub, built on poor people deductions in this country. Go and see who party in there. See who discotheque in there. Go in one Woodbrook place, one Joe Paris place as I like to call it, because Joe Paris have more property in one Woodbrook place than anybody else. I want to know what prices he paid and how he's so fortunate to get all of these properties that nobody else could get. These are the questions we have to ask, and you cannot continue to ask it from outside. You cannot continue to burn tires. We can't just continue to make noise. We need, first and foremost, the people of Trinidad and Tobago to stand up to the corruption that the PNM and the UNC represents and fire those two parties. You have an option now. The Progressive Empowerment Party, come out in your thousands. This Saturday, we are standing up and staring down the bandit brigade and the corruption criminals in this country. And we're doing it in your name. You want a chance, you want an opportunity to fix your country, to reboot the republic, to undo and redo all the failed institutions of state. This is your chance.
Time is now. Trinidad and Tobago, the time is now. It's now or never. And that's a fact.
More for Beetham, Lavatel and Silos, we're winding down. If we could get some calls, 682-2110. We would really like to hear from the residents of the Beetham. You have a right to your voice. You are supposed to have a way and a means to address issues. I want to say, let us not come across like we're defending criminality. But government has a responsibility to give people hope and opportunity. And in the absence of hope and opportunity, where the well-being of the citizenry is not addressed, they breed in crime. This is a country where the people in the middle are squeezed by crime on top and crime below. We have to fix that. We have to fix that. And at the end of the day, the only way to do that is to recognize what is the problem and to fix it. Yeah?
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Thank all of you who joined us tonight. As you could see, the pins and the map behind us, those are the constituencies in which we are already on the ground. March 2018, the Progressive Empowerment Party is having a massive national launch. Zero recycled politicians. We are coming at you fully formed. 41 constituency caretakers screened and ready as candidates for elections. We have a council of advisors honing their messages, honing their respective parts of the manifesto. Future government ministers, we are ready to hit the ground running. We tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago, these 5 things you can guarantee: home ownership, affordable food, education that delivers, healthcare that works, and security of all persons in this country. We are the party that stands for the establishment of the maritime security wall that will end the narcotic trade and the smuggling of all the guns and all the contraband that is at the heart of all of the crime taking place in this country. It is time to stand up and address and deal with these issues. We will make it possible for low-income minimum wage earners to be able to own their own home. We will make it possible for small farmers to have access to land and support to grow and get themselves right-sized and grow them into big farmers. No more overnight finances coming and grabbing on 200 acres. We have a call coming in. All right, it doesn't want to slide. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, good day.
Hi, good night, you're live.
Yeah, I come over here. I say that the reason why remove people that gun so because of that shit here so. Yeah. Good night.
We listening to you. We listening to you.
Alright. But what I'm saying, the system designed so to keep the poor and the rich. Because I is a victim of a frame case from a police because of the area that I live. I was in a district with a friend, and because of the area that I live, I was given a case because of that. You understand? I work in CPEP, and now our child going preschool, and they say that how people have to pay for the preschool, and I pay $1,000 and it's $800 a fortnight I working for only. And then I reading on the papers how much money, how much millions and billions of dollars taken. Understand? And now the only person who paying a little bread in my pocket, they come and take the person, understand what I'm saying? So we need to protest because they're not doing nothing for we. And then now they're looking to take more bread out of our mouth. You understand what I'm saying?
What is it like? What is it like on the ground tonight?
Well, we coming back out again, and we coming back out again later and protest. And Saturday, please God, we coming to because we are changing in the country. Because we as government, we ain't getting nothing.
I want to ask you a question. Are you all organizing yourselves? Do you have a leadership, spokespeople, anybody that I could come and talk with? You hearing me? Are you hearing me? Yeah. You hearing me, caller? Oh man.
That's too bad. I mean, I can literally hear the desperation in the voice of that gentleman that just called.
Mova Bitam Lavantel and Silots, please call in. We want to speak to you.
Though I might not be able to relate to your situation because I don't live in the area, I understand what it is to make sacrifices. And yes, I agree with you 100%. The depressed communities in Trinidad and Tobago, they've been neglected. How can we, understand what they feel when they see, as this gentleman just said, hundreds of millions of dollars being misappropriated, and they have to come up with $1,000 to send a child to preschool, and they cannot afford to do it?
Suzette,
how can that be right?
There's a place between the West where the most expensive properties in this country exist, and everywhere else. There is a place that everybody who lives in Goodwood Park, Bayshore, Shorelands, Westmoreland, and Columbus Circle, Petey Valley, Diego Martin, drives past every day. And it's called Cocorite. And inside Cocorite, they have some places called Harding Place and Waterhole. And if you ever, right there, right across the road from Bayside Towers, which is multi-million-dollar properties, across the highway, is Cocorite, Waterhole and Harding Place. It is an oxymoron to call it Waterhole because nobody inside there have water. And Harding Place, it couldn't get harder. If you come and see how tough these people have it, how difficult. Some of them used to fish for a living, and now they've cut them off from the sea. We've made all the property on the other side that they used to cross and go into the sea to fish, to feed their family. That is now high-class real estate. We are treating the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We are treating our citizens like they do not matter. We are treating our citizens with scant courtesy and disrespect. We are failing to represent the people in the House of Representatives. We are doing our politics wrong. We are doing our government, we are doing governance wrong. This, whatever this is not working. I have a friend. He is a police officer. He is a hard-working police officer. And he tell me, he said, Philip, I'm ready to done with this. I stand up with my mother outside Port of Spain General Hospital from 6:30 till 2 with about 100 other elderly, and stand up in sun because they have nowhere for them, waiting for an eye clinic in our $6 billion hospital, waiting for an eye clinic, and at 2 o'clock all of them get told, sorry, come back in March. Now you tell me, how could any of that? And when I speak to the CEO, he tells me, March, they're lucky. Some come for your CAT scan in 2019. We have spent just on healthcare in the last 10 years almost $60 billion for a country of 1.3 million people. How could that ever be right? That our elderly could be treated that way?
You know, I'm trying to come to terms with what that gentleman just said. And I mean, anybody who knows me will know that children and animals, those are my causes. And I'm trying to come to terms with what it must feel like to know that you need to educate your child. And you cannot come up with $1,000 to pay for your child's education because the government never saw it fit to improve your community, and now they're telling you that you're going to have to pay for that childcare and that preschool service that they were supposed to be providing for you in the first place. If a person does not care about a child, you cannot care about anybody else.
See, if you want to take the call, if you ran out of credit, that is the person who called in.
You need to understand that the children, that's your human capital that you have to invest in. And if a government is not investing in that, something is wrong. We need to stand up and we need to say that our children matter. This gentleman that just called cannot afford to send his child to school. What are the options that are going to be available for this child?
And that's preschool, eh? And that means because if he's a single parent, preschool is now essential. He just told you that his fortnight for CPEP is $800 and that the money that is required for the preschool is $1,000. How, in heaven's name? It's like this insanity that they put out with the traffic tickets. $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000. They're setting poor people up to make jail. Some of these people, I mean, at the end of the day, he's willing to go back. Hello, good evening. Yes, hello, good evening. You want to go live? Yeah, you want to go live? Hold on, you're going to go live now. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, Mr. Philip, and the Chief Musketeers who is here right now. Hope all of you are doing well.
Yes, we're doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I want the people who is listening right now to stop defending PNM and the UNC fighting among each other, because the only ones who is benefiting from these two parties is their family, friends, and financiers. They need to wake up. It's wake up time right now for Trinidad. Look at what's going on in the country. We need to wake up now, or we're all doomed.
Thanks a lot for that, my friend.
You guys take care.
Thanks a lot for that.
That was a guy from over?
No, this is somebody
else?
from Canopia, but I thought it was a guy from over because we're trying to reach him. We're trying to call him back. If you're watching, we're trying to call you back. So if you're getting the call, let me try him. I'll try him. We're trying to call him back to see if we could put him live again, because he could have run out of credit. I think in his
The phone probably died too.
yeah, the phone probably died.
I was watching videos and stuff and it's not being charged. Well, then that might have been the case.
That happens to me all the time. But then again, I have a what they call, I understand, a Me Too. And I'm very happy with it. But the battery life, it's really a little bit frightening.
I don't know. I guess we could wrap up now. I mean, at the end of the day, the Progressive Empowerment Party stands for transparency in government. It stands for returning the power of the cabinet and the power of the parliament to the people. We plan, it is our intention. We envision and dream of a nation where the same process by which a government is voted into office, it can be removed from office. You don't need to riot. You don't need to burn tires. You need to sign a petition, serve it on the EBC, and the EBC will have to call a by-election. That is called recall. if your member of parliament is not delivering what he is supposed or she is supposed to deliver, you have the right to recall them. The Progressive Empowerment Party, that is our first day in office. Referendum is our second day in office. We have a legislative agenda that puts the democracy and the power of the parliament, power of government, back in the hands of the people. We want to reduce the cabinet to 9 ministers. We want to outlaw the RHAs, the THA, local government, the way the police service is set up now. Create constituency boards of supervisors. Each constituency autonomous, funded to take care of its own business from central government. No longer will a Minister of Works decide if Point Fortin and Diego Martin and St. Augustine have pavements and drains. That will be handled at the constituency level, as will water. Each constituency will be funded to be responsible for generating their own water. We live in a country where we get 9 to 15 times the water we need for our consumption every year in rain, and we wash it out to sea. We need retention ponds in some constituencies. We need aquifer wells in others. Yes. We need desalination plants in others still. We can. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hello, Philip.
Hi, good evening.
I am calling. Good evening, Philip. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I am calling because I just listened to that caller that called from the Beatum tonight, and I'm really sad that he got cut off. I'm calling because I want to plead. I am in the UK and we are listening to what that man was actually saying, and we really, really desperately wanted to hear more from him. And I know the show is coming to an end, but I really, really had hoped that him or somebody else who are involved out there with that situation on the Beatum would call and educate us about what they're going through, give us some details about what they're facing, the hardships that's causing them to react this way. There are so many people in the country who are doing well, and they have no idea what these poor people are going through, and we desperately need to know. As I said, I'm in the UK. They have coverage in a really far and wide area. People are hearing them internationally. If only they would speak to us. Please, somebody call and speak to the PP, or go to 19 Stanmore Avenue on Saturday at 12 o'clock and speak to the PP and try and work with the PP to try and better your situation. You deserve better. We want to help.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, we're talking to the people, Mova, Beatum, Laventel, and Silots. Listen, we want to invite you to come join us. We're at 19 Stanmore Avenue. That's not far. We're right here in Port of Spain. If you could make it Saturday at noon, we're inviting you to come down, be our guests. Come and have a conversation with us. The people of Mova, Beatum, Laventel, and Silots are overdue for proper representation. You are overdue to have your voices heard. I am willing to be your voice. I, the Progressive Empowerment Party, we are here to serve all 41 constituencies. And if you want real representation, now is the time. Now is the time. I just want to wrap up what I was saying before that call came in just now. We could, of every constituency in this country, if it were responsible for its own water generation, we could have water for all in 5 years. We could be food independent in 5 years. We could have all of our people gainfully employed within 5 years. None of these things. This is a country that doesn't qualify as a county in the UK. 1 million people. 1 million people. Contrast and compare that with New York City. New York City is 8 million people in one little island. The reality is, this place can be fixed. It can be fixed fast. We are the third wealthiest nation in the Western Hemisphere by mineral rights alone. Imagine if we added to that a proper food production agriculture sector. I showed people, a friend of mine, showed her actual farm where she is growing kale and she is making in excess of $300,000 every month on a piece of land less than an acre.
You hear that?
Every 3 weeks she harvesting. I mean, Food production could make millionaires of our people.
I've been saying that.
Food production could make millionaires of our people.
Yes.
The kale that she growing and selling for $300,000. Price Smart selling, she's selling for $15, they're selling for $45. So the cost of food will come down, and our people, they've been lying to us and telling us that we can't feed ourselves. That's nonsense.
Can, and we can create employment too within the communities. Can you just imagine that this country, Trinidad and Tobago, can put food production as the first product or the first service in this country that is going to generate so much more forex than oil and gas? It can happen. We can make food production our primary market in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I agree.
Food self-sufficiency would save us a lot of foreign exchange.
That's right.
It would reduce the GDP.
That's right.
The reality is we need to come back. Trinidad,
I'm sorry, what I meant to say was it would reduce the food import bill. 30 billion. I don't know what
And I know you paced out there for a second, right?
everybody exhausted. It's been a long day, but no, but
I meant increase.
I was like, wait a minute. I myself was trying to process
And I'm thinking just now, what did I just say? I'm exhausted. You have to excuse me.
No, well, we were on the radio.
Okay.
We were doing radio shows all day today. We were on the radio show from 11 o'clock this morning. But come back to this because we could feed ourselves and we could put our people to work. The $1 billion that is spent on CPEP and URP, this gentleman who just called in, you could imagine if you set him up with a half-acre farm and let him start to grow and harvest and mind his family, making $150,000.
You could imagine the sense of pride and the sense
he
of...
go back into the same community.
Yeah.
He just come from and hire 3, 4,
That's
5
it.
people
Yeah.
to work for him.
Yes.
All of a sudden, and they learn how to farm. They move on. They get their farm. He hire new people.
Look at that. TNT. Did you just see that? That is how you can get a nation to have spending power. It's a simple solution, you know. It's not rocket science. Look, the man now see it. Chain reaction, downstream. You can empower a nation.
Yeah.
A nation.
All of our fishing communities should get fish markets with ice service. Ice service is imperative to them. They need ice to keep the fish fresh for the consumers. If we deal with food production, our fishermen, the Taiwanese and the Bajans and everybody else fishing our waters because our fishermen can't.
I wonder how many people also realize that with food production in Trinidad and Tobago, you are going to reduce the healthcare bill in this country because food that is grown in a country and consumed within that country travels less. And every day that your food travels loses the properties that is supposed to be for health purposes. So if you grow your food here, you will be producing healthier food produce and you would be consuming healthier and you would be saving yourselves a lot of expenses for healthcare. So it is as Tony put it is a rippling effect that is going to be a positive one when you put a horizontal business model like food production in Trinidad into place.
That's right.
You could imagine a national jobs program outside of CPEP and URP where you have a jobs registry, where you have an industry responsible for creating jobs for the skill sets that exist. That industry would instruct tertiary education and further education as the skills we need so that we would know what courses to offer. Imagine being able to take all of our people who are unemployed or underemployed and get them certified, get them trained, and create jobs for them.
Yeah.
There are agencies worldwide. This country is outside of the hurricane belt. This is a nation that does not, we have one season, hot. We could work 24/7, 365 days a year. There are companies in the world to ship a fully assembled television from China to Brazil. It is better that they ship parts and assemble in Trinidad and sell it to Brazil. These simple little things is all it takes. Shipping turnaround. We've been talking shipping turnaround. I understand the PNM government talking shipping turnaround now. It's not in the manifesto. It's not in Vision 2020. Not in Vision 2030. Where it is in the Progressive Empowerment Party, Reboot the Republic. It is part of our policies and now it is part of theirs. We don't mind, but don't just talk it. Get it done. Tourism. Cruise ship tourism. Cruise ship tourism right now will make billions in Tobago alone. Just that.
Well, just start talking about the reduction in crime, and that alone will see an increase in tourism in your country without even trying to do anything else but reducing crime.
Trinidad and Tobago, the conversation you have to be having right now is how we together fix this country. Come and join the Orange Army. We are here this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. The entire team will be here. Come and join the team. Come and join the family. Come and add your voice. We have plans, policies, programs, ideas, and a vision for a better Trinidad and Tobago. A vision for a better life for you and your family. Come and hear it. Don't think that it is just talk. You've had talk for 55 years. Come and see action. Come and discuss what we've already done. Come and see what we are already doing and add yourself to ours. Yes? Thank all of you who joined us tonight for this impromptu show. Thank you, Tony.
Yes, thank you, Trinidad and Tobago, for having us. And again, like Philip said, come down every Saturday, 12 noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. It is your platform that is created for you, for your voice to be heard, for your thoughts on a way moving forward. Maybe we'll take some of that information and implement it in what we're trying to create, and you can be a part in moving us forward. And that's what we need. We need regular people. We need the citizenry to make this happen. We can't do it by ourselves. This is about you. It's about us as a nation. Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Isles, diamond, 2 diamonds on the planet.
Paradise on earth.
Yeah.
Suzette?
I know that a lot of you may be thinking that you have nothing to add to the management of Trinidad and Tobago, but nobody that is sitting on this panel and nobody that presents any idea to you knows everything about everything. Every opinion, every idea, every thought, every suggestion counts. We need everybody, all hands on deck. And no matter how small or insignificant you think your issue is, it is important. Every last issue, concern, and opinion shapes the future for this country. And we're asking each one of you to come out and let us know what you need done in your community and how we can help fix this country together. You need to understand that this is no longer about race. It is no longer about the UNC and the PNM being the only choice. You have a choice now, and a choice that represents you, a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. So you need to let your voice be heard, and I'm asking each one of you to please think about the future of this country. Our children, they are counting on us to make the right decision for them.
Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot to all of you who were viewing us tonight. Today we had the unfortunate situation of citizens attacking citizens. Listen, we need that to stop. I'm calling on the people of Morva, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots. Hold your hand. I am asking you to meet with us. Give me a call. My number is 682-2110. I will come. Let us talk. Let us find a way forward. We promise you representation.
I think you just gave them a wrong number.
682-2110 is that my number?
Oh, you said 10. Okay, I'm sorry.
You really need some sleep.
I do. It's coffee. Nobody gave me coffee. In my defense, nobody gave me coffee.
682-2110. That is my number always. I will and we will. And we're open to you, 19 Stanmore Avenue. Come, let us have a conversation. Let us talk representation. At the very least, worry the PNM. At the very least, worry them enough that they come into your community and start to do work for you like they do in the marginal communities. But I'm asking especially the people of the Beetham, the rest of the country and the innocent citizens are not your enemies. Do not make it worse for yourself. Do not make things harder for everybody. Let us work together to resolve these issues. And I promise you, the reason I say the words Morva, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealot so easily is because I've been saying it for decades. And I spoke, and like others who have come before that knows that we need to come into your communities and address the issues that matter most to you so that all of us together can grow forward together. And that is our plan. That is our goal. One people under one flag. We are the party that stands for the unification of our people, the removal of all the dividers, sexual orientation, creed, race, religion, gender, height. There is nothing to separate our people. We want to join hands, all of our people together, one people under one flag. The Progressive Empowerment Party is your vehicle for change. Come and join with us. If you need any further information, you feel free to give me a call, 2110. Thank all of you. I'd like to say thank you to our chairman and producer, Felicia Holder, who does yeoman service every evening. We're getting a call at this last minute. Just let me check this. Hello, good evening. Yes? Would you like to go live? Would you like to go live? Okay, hold 1 second for me, right? You're going to just take his number for me there. And as I said, I would like to thank the chairman, Felicia Holder, who is also our interim director producer, and our new member of PEP Media, Boya Kanek, who has taken it upon himself to provide us with donuts tonight. We're going to need that infusion of sugar.
You see, you could have said that before. That would have helped me with my thought process.
We could use that infusion. Of sugar.
So everybody together, one people under one flag.
One flag.
One people under
one
one
people
flag.
Under one flag.
Thank you. Thank all of you. And we will be talking to you again this Saturday. Those of you who would like to come and take a little drink and a little lime with us, this Saturday at 5 o'clock, we are at the Shakonia Hotel. We have an event called Pep and Parang. Come and see us under less strenuous conditions. We take a little drink, we take a little chip, yeah? But back on serious point, Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. The members of the community, Beta, Morva, Lavantil, Silots, it is time for us to talk. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to help. We want to represent you. We want to give you the representation that you deserve. So, talk to all of you again soon.
Good night.
Good night.